thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. I'm Aaron Porras here with ILTV's Morning Briefing. An Israeli soldier has just been stabbed at the Qalandiya checkpoint near Ramallah. Shortly before 7 a.m., a Palestinian woman approached the IDF soldier, claiming she wanted to ask her a question, but instead pulled out a knife and stabbed her. The attacker was then subdued by several other soldiers who were also manning the checkpoint. Medics treated the victim at the scene before taking her to Hadassah Hospital in Ein Kerem, Jerusalem, where she's expected to make a full recovery. The Defense Ministry's Coordinator of Government Activities in the Territories, or COGAT, has identified the victim as a 28-year-old non-commissioned officer who helps oversee the checkpoint. According to police, the assailant is a 39-year-old Ramallah native who is currently under arrest. This attack comes just a day after a Palestinian teenager attacked 4 Israelis, wounding them with a pair of wire cutters in a Tel Aviv hotel lobby. The Palestinian had entered Israel on a one-day permit as part of a coexistence tour to build relations between Palestinians and Israelis. 2 Jewish Israeli men were saved by Israeli police yesterday after they were ambushed by rocks once entering the East Jerusalem Arab neighborhood of Sur Bahel. The 2 men reportedly entered the neighborhood on business to sell eggs on the black market when their car began being pelted with rocks. The 2 men drove their car towards a health clinic where they found shelter. They hit a parked car in their panic and remained at the clinic until police arrived. Heavier riots broke out as the men attempted to leave with their police escort. Molotov cocktails and rocks were hurled at the Israeli police and the 2 men's car. The car was basically totaled, but thankfully no injuries were reported. According to a new report released by the Anti-Defamation League, or the ADL, anti-Semitic incidents in the United States have seen a dramatic rise of 86% over the last 3 months. This is in addition to the reported 34% increase since 2016. The ADL's audit of the first quarter of this year shows 541 reported anti-Semitic incidents, 380 incidents of harassment, 161 bomb threats, and 155 cases of anti-Semitic vandalism. Anti-Defamation League CEO Jonathan Greenblatt released a statement saying, quote, "There's been a significant sustained increase in anti-Semitic activity since the start of 2016, and what's most concerning is the fact that the numbers have accelerated over the past 5 months," end quote. The coincidence between the rise in anti-Semitic hate crimes and the 2016 presidential election posed an interesting statistic as well. The ADL statement continued in saying, quote, "The 2016 presidential election and the heightened political atmosphere played a role in the increase. For example, in Denver, graffiti posted in May 2016 said, quote, 'Kill the Jews, vote Trump.' And in November, a St. Petersburg, Florida man was accosted by someone who told him Trump is going to finish what Hitler started." Speaking at an engagement with the World Jewish Congress last night, on the eve of Israel's Holocaust Memorial Day, President Donald Trump said, quote, "On Yom HaShoah, we look back at the darkest chapter of human history. We mourn, we remember, we pray, and we pledge never again. I say it, never again," end quote. Greenblatt's statement continued, saying, quote, "Clearly we have work to do and need to bring more urgency to the fight. At the ADL, we will use every resource available to put a stop to anti-Semitism. But we also need more leaders to speak out against this cancer of hate and more action at all levels to counter anti-Semitism," end quote. The majority of the recent incidents occurred in heavily Jewish areas like California, New York, New Jersey, Florida, and Massachusetts. In honor of Yom HaShoah, Israel's Holocaust Memorial Day, United States President Donald Trump delivered a speech to the World Jewish Congress Assembly in New York condemning anti-Semitism and prejudices. In his speech, delivered via video link, the president referred to the Shoah as, quote, "the darkest chapter of human history." Trump continued by saying, quote, "We must defeat terrorism and we must not ignore the threats of a regime that talks openly of Israel's destruction. We cannot let that ever even be thought of," end quote. This was a not-so-subtle reference to the Iranian regime, which actively backs armed groups dedicated to Israel's destruction. Iranian leaders have often made incendiary remarks against the Jewish state, with the leader going so far as to say that Israel should be wiped off the map. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has long claimed that Iran's nuclear program causes a significant threat to the Jewish state's existence, and last January, on International Holocaust Memorial Day, he claimed that the Iranian regime poses the greatest danger to Israel. French Jews are growing increasingly concerned with far-right candidate Marine Le Pen's latest electoral victory. Yesterday, Le Pen and centrist candidate Emmanuel Macron advanced to France's runoff election slated to take place later on May 7th. Francis Khalifat, president of CRIF, the umbrella organization representing French Jewry, said that he is worried to see National Front making it to the main event of French democracy, but was satisfied to see a Republican in the lead. Le Pen has campaigned on an ultra-nationalist platform calling for the banning of religious attire in public, including Jewish skullcaps and Islamic head coverings. Le Pen has also advocated for criminalizing dual citizenship for French-Israeli nationals. Recently, Le Pen attracted attention for claiming that France bared no responsibility for the roundup of French Jews during World War II. In 2015, Marine Le Pen kicked out her father, Jean-Marie Le Pen, who was the founding member of the National Front, from the party after he was convicted for inciting racial hatred against Jews. That's all for now. I'm Aaron Porras, and see you later with our main daily broadcast from Israel at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.